Today I'm going to show you an NBA Legends hack for better handles. Make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end because I'm going to wait for you to make the most of this. So let's get started. Right now I'm going to show you what it is and why it helps. And when I show you, I want you to leave a comment and tell me what NBA point guard, absolute all-time great point guard that you think it is, use this. And of course I'll tell you in a little bit. So what it is dribbling a tennis ball. Now leave a comment, let me know who you think it is. But here's why it'll help. This tennis ball is a heck of a lot smaller than a basketball, right? So because of that, I have to have a little bit more accuracy with where I'm aiming that tennis ball to make sure I'm catching it. With the basketball, if the ball center point was right here, there's still all that extra room of the ball that it would still touch my hand. But when I'm with this tennis ball, I have to be much more precise where that center point of the tennis ball ends up. So then when I go back to a big basketball, I'm for sure gonna have that basketball hitting right towards the middle of my hand, so I get more precise with that release and catch. The other thing this is gonna help me do is get more focused on my control with my fingers. Example, I can use this to dribble and try to use just my fingers on the ends, not quite the tips, but the ends of them to control the tennis ball. But then I can also play around with using more of my palm. Just like when we dribble a basketball, there's times when we want to have low, quick dribbles, or times when we really need to grip it, we're gonna use more of our fingers. But there's also gonna be times where we want to let it slide in our hands so we get more air time and can cover more ground. And those are times that using the palm is gonna be better. The next thing this is gonna do is help you work on this up here, your head. It's gonna mess with your head a lot more. It's just a different feel. The ball is lighter. The ball doesn't bounce the same, doesn't come up as high, right? It's got different pressure in it than a basketball. So it makes you think a little bit more when you're dribbling and have to work a little harder to keep that control. So not only is it advancing your control on that side of things, but it's making you think a little more and have to react a little more. And if you think about the player that used this, it makes perfect sense because he was a super quick player to react. Not the fastest player moving, but one of the fastest to react and make reads, and a super high IQ player. And that player was Steve Nash. So here's some simple things you can do with it, and then I'm gonna give you the thing that I mentioned earlier in the video that will help you make the most of it. But the simple thing is literally any drill that you're doing, your figure eights, I gotta look at this a little more because it's a lot harder, like I mentioned. You can do figure eight dribbles like this. You can go in and out into a cross, in and out into a cross. Literally any drill you can think of. In fact, I have a full program with all kinds of ball control drills that I'll pin to the comments. You can literally do that entire program with a tennis ball if you really want to take it next level. But another important thing you can do is work on game-specific moves, like your Tim Hardaway U-tap two-step, getting into a bounce back, all kinds of different moves. You name the move, you can work on it with the tennis ball, and it's really good to get that footwork into the mix because that really changes the dynamic of everything. But here's how you make the most of it. This tennis ball is extremely tiny, right? So one of the best things you can do is always have it with you. Now, don't want it in your pocket unless maybe you're like in class, work, whatever. But then when you get done or you got a break, you could just pop that tennis ball out. And when you're walking from class to class, you can be getting some dribbling in. And you can mess up a little bit like I did there, but it takes failure to get better. And just getting more of this dribble work in more often in a lot of situations where you can't bring a basketball, this gives you the opportunity to keep getting that work in. So just go ahead and use it when you're walking from class to class, freestyling with it a little bit, getting creative, playing around with it, and thinking about different ways to take it next level. Again, if you want specific drills to work on, check out Ball on a String. That's pinned to the top comment, and I'll see you in the next video.